Hey everyone, this is Fi. Checking out Project Light Spirit. This is going to be a part 2 of sorts. If you had seen the original video, I kind of encountered a bug right at the start of the game. Wasn't able to continue, so I didn't really have the opportunity to see much of the game at all. But the developer had responded to my video and he apparently fixed whatever was causing the crash, which is very considerate, and we're gonna give it another shot and see if we can give some feedback that will actually be useful this time. Alright, so we got... Just looking at this again, I don't remember what was in there, but we're just gonna jump in a new game. I should kind of know what to expect here for a bit. Get rid of that overlay. Alright, something about a library. Oh, okay, so we jump back into the menu again. I hit the escape key. I guess the X is the back button. It doesn't go back in this screen. Okay, I can't seem to get out of this menu here, so the X key isn't working and the escape key isn't doing anything. If I go forward, the X key goes back, but that's too bad. I think we're gonna have to go to exit. I don't think it always opens that up like that. I think it's something to do with me spamming the button to get through the text or something. It opens that up, I'm guessing. Let's try one more time. Alright, so I think... Alright, I'm not even sure what opens up that menu, because I haven't found a button that actually does open that up, so I don't know why that opens up, and I also don't know what button is intended to do that. Maybe you're not meant to access it yet, because it's obviously very unfinished. So the button layout is a little weird, as I had noticed before. Like Z being used to jump, and then C is your melee attack. It just kind of feels a little awkward to me, but we're gonna have to try and get used to it. And we got X here is this little shooty thing, which apparently uses up some meter at the top there. Jumping is a little bit floaty. Oh, I was just kind of... For a moment there, I was moving to the right. I was kind of in the air still, and I had taken my hand off the key, the right arrow key, and I was still moving to the right. I don't know how that ended up happening. That's okay. Let's go ahead and... Alright, so we can get past that transition this time. This guy's really blending in a lot. I don't care for how much that blends into the background. I prefer to have the enemies stand out more. In this particular case, it's not that big of a deal because this is very slow moving kind of thing. Same with this guy. I think this is an enemy. And I could see him because he's wiggling around, you know, but the way it just doesn't really stand out much from the background. That's something I don't care for very much. So for a moment there, I think I was... Okay, there's something... Alright, looks like the enemies respawn if you go one screen away. For Metroidvanias, I think it's nice if you go like... If the enemies will only respawn if you go like 2 screens away, maybe? I wouldn't say that's a rule or anything, but that just kind of seems like a better way to do it, in my opinion, especially if you like accidentally trigger that and you have to come back in, you have to do everything all over again to fight everyone. It just kind of seems nicer if they don't respawn that soon. So again, this guy's kind of hiding. So yeah, sometimes I'm trying to figure out how I did it, but I'm noticing like when I jump in the air, I'll start moving left or right even though I'm not pressing the button anymore. And it just kind of keeps going that way. I haven't been able to figure out yet what's doing that. Guess I'll have to ignore it for now and see if it happens again. I don't know why these things kind of float away from me sometimes. Like maybe they're randomized a little, or they always float to the left. I don't know. Yeah, they seem to they seem to always drift to the left. Seems very strange. Corrupt lightling. Alright, we got some kind of a church type thing. We got some stained glass. Abandoned mansion. Alright, this guy's kind of fighty. Or girl. Ah. Alright. Oh gosh. Maid fighter. Oh, this person has like way more HP than I'm expecting. Okay. So, unfortunately, the controls are the layout is quite awkward for me and using the keyboard and such, so I'm having a hard time getting used to it for sure. And this is like a lot more demanding than I expected, and it's not like if I had a gamepad this wouldn't be that hard or anything, but compared to like the previous enemies and everything, suddenly quite a bit harder. Took a lot of damage there. There was quite a lot of hits they took. I feel like I would tend to prefer enemies that have less HP. While still having like some challenge involved in. Wait, what's the alright, that's that dash thing. Which can go either way apparently. So your feet get rooted for quite a while after you use the attack. But I think you can alright, you can dash like immediately. Actually you can't. Oh, that's strange. Okay. I don't know how this works exactly, but there's a like it seems like there's a few frames after you attack that you can do the dodge, and then there's like a few frames after that where you can't do the dodge. There's like a window of time. I don't even know if it's consistent. It appears there's some kind of window of time like after you attack. If you press the dodge button, it just ignores it. And like I said, I can't tell if it's consistent or not. Like every time I do this, I'm pressing both attack and then the dodge button. You can see sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I don't know how that's meant to work, if that's intended. The buttons are gonna get me killed real fast here. These are very awkward button layout for me. Oh, you can do wall jumps. That's nice. Oh, you can do a little downward kick type thing. Those things are always fun. Very cool. Oh. Wait, what? Okay, so sometimes I'm noticing that I seem to be doing the ball jump kind of automatically, like when I was like holding the button or something, the jump button. And now it's not like happening anymore, so I don't know what I don't know what's going on. A little confusing. Okay, we got a wheel thing of some sort, gaze wheel. Oh, I can't crouch and use this projectile. Ah, that hurt a lot. Wonder if I don't know if you can dodge through enemies. Like, do you have iframes when you Do the old dodge there, or? Oh my gosh, yeah, the inconsistency of that dodge button is gonna get me into trouble here. Oh gosh. Okay, it looks like you can dodge through stuff, so that's cool. I definitely prefer that over not being able to. Which button is jump? Oh my gosh. Wow. You almost made it over that. So I'm really close to dying. I don't know how to get health in the game. That would be good to know. I'm trying to hit that. Oh my gosh. What, okay, so you have to hold towards the wall and then press jump again to wall jump. Something to get used to. It's rather Mega Man-esque in that way. I played all the Mega Man X games, so should be no problem. Oh, that guy falls off. Okay, so I don't want to go down there because he's going to kill me, but I noticed that you can't... For one, you can't attack while you're against the wall, and you also kind of stay... once you go into the state where you're wall sliding, even if you're not pressing the arrow key towards the wall anymore, you stay in that state. So you can get in this case where you're kind of stuck on the wall and you're like trying to hit an enemy, and you can't do anything because you're still sliding. I think it would make sense to stop wall sliding when you stop pressing that direction. It should be similar to Mega Man, but I think that would prevent that kind of issue from occurring. Okay, so you can spam that pretty fast. That's kind of nice. Actually, that didn't take much, this MP or whatever at all. So this area is a bit sprawling. Looks like, I'm assuming that's a keyhole on that thingy. Alright, we didn't fall on an enemy, that's good. That was... Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at these controls. Why is it... Oh, what? Okay, that's very awkward. So there's this floating thing next to me, kind of above my head. I don't know what that is, if it's like a book or something. But apparently that's where the projectile comes out of, but this is kind of inconsistent and in my opinion pretty annoying in that when you do it on the ground, it just like appears in front of you. The book moves kind of instantly to this position in front of you, and that's where the bullet comes out of. But if you're jumping in the air, you can see the book kind of lags until you hit the ground again, then it teleports to centered on the character. I definitely want that to come out of the character, basically. So, like when I'm trying to do this kind of maneuver, and I don't want to have to like look at something other than my character. Like the character is what I'm controlling, so it would be much more intuitive in my opinion, and again, more consistent if that book was going to stay centered on my character here when I'm doing that. It was pretty confusing. Like I was jumping and it just felt like really wrong. Like it wasn't shooting accurately, kind of. But I guess now that I know what happens, I can try and compensate for it. I did get some health at some point. I didn't really pay attention to what gave me that. I don't know if it came out of a candle thing or what. This looks like a savey thing, so I'm assuming you press up. Does this work? Alright, I don't know if this is fully implemented yet or whatever. I assume this is like supposed to be a save room, and I'm supposed to be able to save and hopefully get my health back here, but none of the buttons I've pressed seem to do anything once I'm on here. So I guess I have no choice but to try to continue on and see how far I can go until I die, kind of thing. That's too bad. Okay. So you do get health out of the candles, so I should probably hit more of those. That reason alone. Oh gosh, okay. So like, I had no idea what that attack was gonna do. I didn't think it was gonna fly at me that fast. I would slow that down a bit. It just goes in like a straight line and it's really fast, so no way to really see that coming. I mean, there was a little bit of a telegraph there, but like, there's no way for me to know what was gonna happen. So, let's see. I guess I just want to go back here real quick. Oh, you can do that in the air. Oh, that person dies. That's weird. Oh, it does use up your MP to do that. It's cool that you can do that, though. I mean... Okay, again, so something is really inconsistent with the this dodge button. Like when I'm trying to do this in the air, sometimes it just doesn't work. I press the button and it doesn't. I don't think it's... Okay, so now I'm running out of MP, I guess, so I can't I can't keep testing it because... Wait, I should have enough by now, right? Yeah. I can't figure it out. There's a lot of times where it just doesn't work. I have no idea why. This is very confusing. So it looks like we have some kind of... There's a white bar that... I guess it only limits your dodge in the ground? Oh, and if you run it... Oh gosh, that's mean. Okay, so if you completely deplete this, we'll assume it's considered stamina. If you completely deplete it, you have to wait until it fully recharges before you can dodge again at all. That just seems really mean to me. This kind of game, you know, I assume is kind of meant to be played with a dodge, or you're just going to get whacked by everything. So... like, maybe there's a purpose to... I mean, there's a need to restrict that with a meter like this. I mean, I tend to hate this kind of stamina thing. I think it's kind of a bad idea in general. I know it's meant to be a limiting factor to kind of prevent issues. I still tend to think it's sort of more of a band-aid, but... assuming that it is still necessary, I don't think you should punish the player that bad for running out. I mean, it's one thing to not have enough to do the next dodge, but just to like all of a sudden you have to wait this giant chunk of time before you can even use the dodge again. It just seems like you're just gonna get killed really fast in certain kind of bad situations. I don't really know where I'm going. Oh. It says I have one key when I look at the top left. I don't remember picking up a key. It may just be because I was probably thinking about something else, talking about something else when I did it. You know? It's probably the case, but I guess I'll go. I think what we want is to go... Gosh, is there a map? Okay, this isn't where we want to go. We want to go up. Up there. Alright, so getting pretty choppy here. Again, this is what I mentioned in the last video. I don't know if you can see it in the capture, but it's most likely because the game is running in the borderless windowed mode, which which tends to be a little unstable with the frame rendering, as opposed to exclusive full screen mode, which is what I prefer. Okay, I expected that. I expected that to flip over, and it didn't. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. So there's something going on. I'm just holding. I was just holding the right arrow key and the jump button, and you can see I kept bouncing off the wall. I was just holding those two buttons the whole time, so I don't know why it just kind of did that sort of automatically. Alright, I was right about that at least. I didn't see what that said in the bottom right. No, it's probably not important, but I'm curious about that. So again, it's being a little weird with... Alright, there we go. A little weird with the wall jumping and kind of jumping on its own here. Can I? Oh gosh. Okay, so this is like one of the worst things about this kind of game is when the enemies start knocking you out of the screen, and that's actually, in my opinion, another really good reason to not respawn all the enemies once you leave the screen. Because, you know, it's really easy to imagine like you're in this room and you're trying to fight all these really nasty enemies, and then all of a sudden one of them knocks you out. And then you just have to come back in and fight them all over again. It's like super frustrating. Oh, okay. Oh, you can kill that thing. Okay, I don't know what it's doing in floating in the air there, but so yeah, I think a really simple solution is just to have the, you know, wait for the player to go to kind of leave 2 spaces away, or rooms away, I guess would be the right word for it, rather than immediately after leaving this room to respawn enemies that way. Another thing is, apart from what seems to be kind of buggy with the wall jumping occasionally, you do go to the, like in this case, oh gosh, you do go to the right quite a bit before you can come back to the left, as you can see. So that can be... Alright, so it doesn't look like you're limiting the player's ability to climb walls, which is sometimes you want to try and do that, you know, you don't want them to be able to climb walls infinitely. In this case, it looks like you can. So if that's intended, that you want the player to be able to do that, fine. I would make the time that you're locked into this going in the other direction a little shorter, in my opinion, so that like if I want to just kind of bounce up here, I don't go that far to the right. It's kind of one of those just fine-tuned things that you have to kind of, you know, guess how long the player's going to need it to go that direction for them. I would just make it a little shorter. Yeah, so again, there was one of these cases where I, yeah, it just happened again. That's so weird. Sometimes I'll jump and I just keep moving in that direction. It feels like there's like a bunch of inertia, but there's not supposed to be. So yeah, lots of little bugs going on here and there, and just the basic moving around and stuff. I don't know where I'm going currently. Again, I don't think there's a button to bring up the menu yet. I don't think the menu is meant to be functional yet, from what I remember seeing before. But I'd like to have a map, and I'd like for it to be in the upper right now. Maybe that's planned for the future or something. You know, that's kind of the traditional way to do it. But that would make me feel like I'm a lot more oriented here. Alright, we got some spikes. We're gonna need another key. Okay, so it looks like we can get across this fine as long as we're careful about. Oh, okay, so that was that's probably the input lag from the VSync here, but that's okay. Oh gosh, oh, that thing's fast. I don't know if I can fight these things. Kind of short and fast. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's annoying. Okay, so I think I get the feeling there's no ledge forgiveness here, so that would definitely be a good thing to add in my opinion. So if you don't know what that is, it's when you well, the problem you're trying to fix is if you try and run off a ledge and jump at the last moment, but you press like, you know, just like a frame or two too late, and then you just fall. It just feels really bad. So the way to fix that's really easy. You just make it so that like just a few frames, like 4 frames or something. I don't know what the exact number is, but just a few frames after you leave the ground, that you can still press jump and it'll still jump. And that works as a ledge forgiveness, which just makes it feel better. Okay, I thought I was going to squeeze through there, but I couldn't. I don't know what the hitbox is like on that thing. Obviously that was not the right way to do that. So we're back at the beginning here. Unfortunately, those, what I assume to be save rooms, aren't working. Alright. Okay, I didn't even... I was looking up at my HUD at the top there, but... Oh my gosh, yeah, like I keep looking around, but without looking directly, like really closely directly at these things, I can't see these guys at all. If I'm looking at another part of the screen, they just completely blend in. So that was kind of dumb, but that's okay. So yeah, it is a little weird how the very, like, well, the very first enemies you encounter are like super weak, and then there's these maids that are like crazy strong. It's kind of weird that you just run into these all of a sudden. Right, I'm not using the dodge. I'm just not used to. Unfortunately, the button layout has been so much trouble for me as it is that I don't want to like add extra buttons to what I'm doing, you know. So I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. Okay, so that was a case where the dodge button just didn't work. Again, I don't know if that's there's any kind of intention about that, or if that's just being bugged. So yeah, as I mentioned, like if I had a gamepad, those maids would be very easy. They do have a lot more HP than I expected, for sure, but it's not like they're difficult enemies or anything. They just kind of maybe it feels just slightly out of place for that early, you know, that kind of thing. But kind of same with these guys, like they have a lot of HP, and there doesn't seem to be much reason why. Kind of just want them to go away faster. So interesting how when you're in the air you don't have any inertia, you can change direction instantly, but when you're on the ground you can't quite. Like it's pretty close, but still not quite. So it's kind of interesting how there's a little bit of a inconsistency there. Well, so I think that the lower path here leads to the key that I needed. Oh yeah, it's just sitting right here, okay. I wasn't thinking at all when I first picked it up. So funny thing is I was actually working on a game very similar to this a while back, which died, but you know, this is kind of reminding me of that experience a lot, so that's interesting to think about. In terms of like level layout and stuff, this is much more far along than ours was in that particular aspect, so it's kind of cool to see, you know. What? It's one of those flame things again. I don't... Okay, so this guy drops the flame things. I think this is an actual enemy. I mean, it's probably not the only one, but I think I remember seeing that in like Symphony of the Night. But I don't remember if these things just stayed around forever, the little fireballs. It's pretty annoying in my opinion. So I just ran into one, I guess. I didn't even see it. I just kind of ran into it. So yeah, compensating for this book kind of lagging behind is pretty annoying. But I was going to say something about the level design. I mean, it feels kind of genuine. It feels like a Castlevania game, so that's pretty cool. That was weird. I didn't... Yeah, see, like... Oh, wait. Okay, how much of that is enemy? Is it just the chair, or is it the whole damn thing? I had no idea that that was an enemy. I remember some of those things floating at me before, but I don't even know at this point, because it's just sitting there, you know, it just looks ornamental. That's really weird. It does not look like something that would hurt me at all. So are these all... Okay, these aren't. These are. So the weird thing is... Wait. Okay, there were no like damage numbers, so it looked like I wasn't doing anything when I was hitting that just now, so that was weird. So I might assume the red tinted ones are enemies and then these kind of more purple ones aren't, but I think in the previous room there, the ones that I was just running into that weren't moving but still hurt me, I think they were these kind of purplish ones. I'm really not sure what the deal is with that. Maybe I'm just remembering wrong, but I don't think so. Okay, so it doesn't look like... Yeah, so something that annoys me about this enemy, for one, there's no damage numbers, so it kind of feels yucky because you don't get any feedback when you hit him. The other thing is that even though this enemy basically does nothing but float towards you in a constant speed, so I kind of expect that when I hit it, it will kind of get knocked away a little bit, or like at the very least just kind of like pause for a brief moment or something, and it just doesn't do anything. It just doesn't react at all to the fact that you're smacking it, so it's really just counterintuitive to me to run up and smack this thing, and it just kind of continues on its trajectory, which ends up in your face. I can understand that, you know, being more kind of thoughtful and intelligent about the approach, you could use your dash after hitting it immediately, that kind of thing. And obviously that makes sense, but I don't think it feels very good. And like I said, it just seems very counterintuitive. So I would consider tweaking that a bit. If you want to utilize the dash more with this kind of design, you could consider making it like speed up at certain times or something like that, you know? I was hoping I could jump over that, but changes direction very quickly. That might be another thing you might want to tweak, actually, is how readily it changes direction. I would slow that down a little bit, just for that, like what just happened just now, where it was kind of coming towards me and I just wanted to jump over it. And I wasn't able to, because while I was doing it, it changed direction, and then like it moved towards me enough that I couldn't clear it. So that would be a... You know, it's a really small change, but that would be a case where you could kind of prevent that from happening, so the player has that option. You can kind of jump over it or whatever, you know, just avoid it better in different ways. If it just doesn't change direction quite as quickly. Alright, it also seems like the hitbox on it is kind of big. It might be a little bigger than it needs to be, I don't know. It felt like it just now. That kind of enemy, in my opinion, has a lot of annoyance potential. Oh, you can crawl, that's cute. haven't had to do that until now. I would hope that someone wouldn't get to this part and just not think to do that. You know, that can be a tricky thing. But how likely that is to happen with real people, I don't know. Another thing I didn't know, you can apparently slide down slopes like this, so that's kind of cute. So of course I can't get back in here. Interesting. I don't know what this... Oh, it is an elevator. Okay, so this doesn't stand out as much as I would like for it to. I did notice how it kind of jumps, the camera jumps into place here, and that kind of signifies that there's something going on. But I feel like the color of this or something should stand out more to show that it's interactive. So it doesn't just look like part of the level. A lot of the level assets are kind of a little abstract looking as it is, so you know, it tends to look like a bunch of weird shapes and stuff, and this kind of follows suit, so I think it could stand out a little bit more. I think we can drop down here. I don't know if there's any purpose right now to be going down here. Is this somewhere back where I was before? I don't actually know. I think it is, which is interesting that I can apparently access this area just by going up here. I completely missed that jump. Check something. Oh, I can't really check it here. Never mind. Another thing I'm noticing here, the alright, I can't use my mouse, but this part of the floor where it's purple, pretty close in color and saturation and everything to the background, whereas this kind of gray maybe stands out a little bit more. But like if I'm right here, there's this kind of purple ground, there's this sort of light gray looking wall type thing directly behind my character, and then there's this darker gray back here, and then there's like the lighter gray that's forming this wall. All these shapes and colors here don't really provide enough differentiation, in my opinion, for like which part of the level is interactive and which part is just background. So I would focus a bit on making this a lot more clear. You know, this is really kind of pretty easy changes to make. You're just kind of tweaking color values, so and it really makes like a huge difference in the visibility of the game, where you know the actual levels of the floor and the walls and what am I saying? The actual boundaries of the floor and the wall and everything really stand out clearly, and the background should be kind of really in the background. It should be kind of pretty desaturated and dark and everything, kind of like this part is, maybe even a little darker. And if you just really get that good balance where the interactive stuff really pops out, then it's just going to look a lot better and feel a lot better. So I think that would be very worthwhile. Looks like we got a lot of spikes. So in this room in particular, you can see like everything's much more clear. I don't know, because the background is just this dark color, you know. Okay, so presumably I'm meant to, I could try and tap jump, but okay. See, I'm forgetting the buttons. I think actually I mentioned in the game that I was working on a while ago, I think I actually tried to hit the button for dodge that we had used, which isn't the button you're using, so that's not helpful. So I know you could do this, and then... Okay, so it doesn't look like I can get up unless there's a... Oh, you can go up. Okay, but I don't know. See, I'm just gonna die if I try this. That's the problem. Okay. I actually don't even know if I can get back where I was. Oh gosh, okay. Okay, you can. Okay. wasn't quite as bad as I thought. So yeah, this is, you know, kind of a really simple sort of jump puzzle. The crap. Which button is the melee attack here? No, it takes a lot of hits. Alright, yeah, so I would tweak the health on this guy too if it was up to me. I don't know why that blue thing is there. But I was going to say, this is a pretty simple jump puzzle type thing. That just would have been a lot easier for me again with the gamepad, or even, you know, just button layout I was a little more comfortable with, but especially if I had a gamepad. But also, like what I just mentioned, like I didn't think that you could use this air dodge thing to go upwards. Oh gosh. I didn't realize. In any case, so yeah, this seems like something where it'd be really easy for someone to just not realize that they had that kind of ability and just never figure this part out. So I'm kind of hoping that the developer might try to kind of explain the controls a little more, some of these abilities that you have. Like I only even figured out that you could kind of dash in the air like this just by kind of experimenting and trying it out. It was, you know, never really implied or anything, so there's definitely a lot of moves, and if you're going to actually require them for the game, then I think that they should probably be made explicit at some point. I don't know for sure if this area is actually like necessary, but either way, it just seems like a good idea, you know, to actually HP max up, nice, to actually take the time to teach the players such things. Yeah, I don't think just putting an obstacle that they can't get past without the ability is necessarily good enough. I kind of get the sense that maybe that was some of the idea here, but I think it's not always good enough as being explicit, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, I have no idea where I am, but I think this is forward, kind of. Even though I keep going kind of to the left, which seems more like backwards, but oh crap. Alright, so again with that, the ledge forgiveness there, and especially with the slight bit of input lag you get from the V-Sync, that would have helped. Oh gosh, this isn't... I don't like this. I don't like this design. Okay. Oh shoot. I thought I could jump off that, but I wasn't quite able to in time. So this was a little bit blind. I kind of went for the platform and I didn't really know the spiky thing was there until I was already jumping for it. I can't really go back there again to see how not visible it was, but it felt like I wasn't really able to see the spiky platform properly to make that judgment of when I should jump until it was too late. So, and that ended up almost killing me. Oh gosh, this guy goes through things. Okay. Oh. Well. Oh, okay. It's gone. Run. Wait, that's the wrong button. Okay. I'm never gonna get used to the controls, unfortunately. Yeah. Ah, that was bad. So I do kind of... Oh. Why does this take so many hits? I don't quite understand that. Ah! Alright, so everything takes a lot of hits. Somehow I'm at 1 HP. I'm at 6. Woohoo! 6 whole hit points. Oh my gosh. Ah, crap. That guy just dropped it at the worst possible spot. So again, lacking some damage numbers here. I just want that guy to go away. Oh my gosh. I do kind of feel like the jump is a little floaty for what I prefer. The thing is, it takes so long to start going back down again. Like a lot of times when you're playing like an action game, you wanna how fast you can fall again is kind of important. And so in this case, it kind of kind of jumps and seems to kind of float in the air for a minute, and then fall. It seems like if you just tap it, there's not so much floatiness, but it's just a slightly longer press, and it gets pretty floaty. It's a little weird how it kind of hangs in the air like that. So I might, consider tweaking that arc a little bit just to have a bit less of the hang time in the air. Okay, alright. So this part is awkward because you're trying to do the wall jumping, and then when it transitions, for some reason it just stops working right. Alright, we made it. Not really sure what exactly was causing that to be awkward. Oh my gosh, I don't have the dexterity right now to handle these. So I kind of like these enemies that just die in one hit. There's a lot of stuff that feels a little too tanky to me, a little too spongy to me right now. But I like that you can just kind of infinitely wall jump. It's very Mega Man-esque. Again, it's a little annoying how far away from the wall you go before you get control back, but it's cool that you can do that, in my opinion. It feels nice. I guess we just don't want to touch that. Oh crap. Oh crap. Okay. Alright, so yeah, another thing is it's really hard to... I only pressed jump very briefly, and I thought I was going to make a shorter jump than that. For some reason, it's hard to control the height of your jump as well, I've noticed. So, let me see if I can skip past this real quick. So if you do it very briefly, you get this little short jump. But anything longer than that, it goes up pretty high. So when you get in those situations, especially with the spikes in the ceiling and stuff, and you don't want to, like, it's really important that you jump the right height. It doesn't quite seem like you have enough control over it. Not sure what exactly that is. Like, I don't know if it doesn't stop going upwards soon enough after you press jump or something. I don't know. In any case, I mean, you can figure all that stuff out yourself, I'm sure, but I think I should probably wrap this up. I died again and had to restart the whole game, so probably a good place to stop, but there's actually quite a bit of game here so far. It feels really kind of random running around without any sort of map, but obviously that's something we can expect for the future. I know I saw that in the menu there. It looked very typical Metroidvania style and everything, and like I mentioned before, I hope that you end up with a mini-map at the top right here. That would be really comfy. But that'll make it feel a lot more aimless when that's in place. But yeah, I mean, it's just very Castlevania-esque. It feels pretty authentic in my opinion. Just a matter of polishing everything up here. So one thing I'm noticing is that I discovered before that you can slide down these slopes, which feels kind of cool. But the unfortunate thing is that there's this element where sometimes you have to crouch to attack this way, and if you're on a slope and you're trying to do that, it just doesn't work. It just screws you up, so you can't do it. And when you consider the fact that, like, when you have an area of floor that has slopes and stuff like this, the enemies end up on different levels than you are. I forgot this is even an enemy. But, by nature of this kind of multi-level area, the enemies end up on different levels from you. So, like, even normal enemies that you don't always have to crouch to attack normally. Like in this case, if he's right here and I'm right here and I want to hit him, I have to press down to hit him, and like apparently there's a lot of spaces that you can stand here that if you press down, like even when it looks like I'm on the top right here, if I press down, it starts sliding instead of doing that, so you just end up getting screwed up. Anyways, you get the point. I would suggest actually Like either removing this feature or finding some other combination of buttons or something to do it rather than just pressing down, because I think it's too much of a sacrifice when you're losing. Oh, that's really weird. The way it accelerates all of a sudden. Okay, let's get rid of that guy. Okay. Yeah, I think it's too much of a sacrifice where you're getting in these situations where you can't crouch attack properly. I don't think that the game really can afford to miss out on that feature. So that would be my suggestion. Really cool game so far. And with a lot of spit and polish, I think it would be really fun to play. Oh, I didn't even know this was here. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, there's just kind of like a lot of game already, even though it's not. There's some bugs and everything, but it's very cool to see. And obviously, this kind of game is a lot of fun. So I'm excited to see where you take this, and I'm definitely very interested to see if you end up working on a lot of things that would could make this a really exciting game to play. So hopefully this video is useful for you. Oh, that was a lot faster than I thought it was. I did so the whole gamepad thing would make a big difference for me too. If you managed to implement that, which I know you kind of mentioned you were starting it or whatever on your game page, but if you managed to implement that, it'll be like so much easier for me to play. So I could just kind of like actually maneuver around these enemies without just randomly taking damage that I shouldn't otherwise. That'll be like way more exciting. So yeah. I think I'll enjoy this one a lot, so let me know if you have any questions. Oh, which button is which? I forgot which button was shoot. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd be excited to know if you have some update in the future, whatever you want me to try, and I'll see you in the next video.